if only one man would give himself entirely and without reserve to the Holy Spirit, imagine what that Spirit might do with him.
As people ask me, how did you begin all this? I said, I didn't. I said, all I did was say yes to God, and He began to take over.
30 years ago, she heard the Spirit of Christ speak to her about establishing this place, and she simply said yes.
We had no sooner moved here to Florida, and I had a 15-year-old son that was killed in a water accident right in front of our home. And I really then began to test my faith. And it was through that process of searching that I came in contact with people who were involved in the Catholic Charismatic Renewal. And through getting to know them and becoming a member of their prayer group, and them introducing me into the baptism of the Holy Spirit, the fullness of the Spirit, it added a deeper dimension in my life and a deeper understanding of my Catholic faith.
Perhaps she didn't quite know how it would all unfold, but she began with one little house. And as things developed, it grew into this beautiful oasis that we see around us.
So in 1980, here in Clearwater, we opened the doors of the House of Prayer, proclaiming, "My house shall be called a house of prayer for all peoples."
In Pope John Paul II's exhortation to the Church, he wrote to the faithful, and he encourages each person to work in the vineyard of the Lord, and he states, "No one can remain idle." Our School of Spirituality, through its Spiritual Direction program, is an answer to the Church's need for these laborers in the vineyard. Our purpose is to equip Catholic Christians to accompany others as they listen to God's call on their lives.
I came here to get a certification in spiritual direction, and I thought I was coming for an academic experience, and I was prepared for that. I was not prepared for what God had in mind, which was a total healing from a traumatic childhood experience that I had had, and it really transformed me.
I highly recommend the program to anyone that's especially clergy, that priests or deacons that might consider the possibility. We do a lot of work with people in counseling, but spiritual direction is much different. You're walking, you're journeying, you're a companion. And the program does a great job in equipping you and helping you become aware of that, and just being able to help hold the mystery of the person and the dignity of that person when you're listening and journeying with them.
We just celebrated the 25th anniversary of the School of Spiritual Direction. And one of the things that was one of the biggest surprises for us through the school was the fact that people would come, and through their 3 sessions being here and experiencing the life of this community, they began to want to take it out.
I just fell in love with the Marian servants and their spirituality. And I was thinking to myself, everyone that I know should come through here. Everyone. But of course, that would not be possible. But God had a better idea. And we ended up going back to Houston, and a couple of years later, another woman that had been through the school came in from Louisiana to Houston, and we started a chapter.
And now we have 12 chapters, 2 more in formation in different states of the United States.
So I'm deeply affected by the program. I'm a layperson, but it's just a beautiful program for me as someone called to share the love of Jesus with others, and that is what I'm praying to be able to do. And I look forward to my 3rd year so that I can actually be able to go forth and do that in my diocese in Philadelphia.
For over 20 years, we have been an active participant in the new evangelization, believing that the little we do in faith and love has an ever-growing spiritual ripple effect through our graduates.
Our Lady of Divine Providence House of Prayer, where so many over the years have come and been drawn so much closer to the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
I think the biggest thing that happened with me in this last 8 days is that I've been able to get more in touch again with God, and God speaking to my heart, opening my heart more, helping me to be a better priest, a more receptive priest to people, and to live out the gift of the priesthood. And
these retreats here with the Marian servants are always very healing, bring us closer to God in ways, maybe sometimes in ways we didn't even recognize we could be closer to God, because He helps us, He touches us, and He helps us to, well, not just know Him, but also to know His mother. And that's the whole idea of the Marian servants.
It's a joy every time that I come here and I walk and I meet people from all over the world that are coming here to be refreshed and renewed. And I pray that God will continue to allow this place to flourish for many years to come.
How amazing it would be if each one of us really let the Holy Spirit live in us, the Spirit of Christ. Then we would truly become the presence of Jesus in the world. We would simply be His instruments.
Now I can see God's hand showing me the path that I must go. And through that, I've been able to help others because I can show them the path through all the teachings that we have received.
As I started to take the course, I really began to feel very much at home. In the off time, I came over to this chapel and I thought, I'm home.
The depth that the exercises has given us to, because you come into a new understanding of who God is and who are you in God and what is your call.
And I feel like each time I come to school, it's another episode of healing and finding more about myself that I can then go out and be Christ to others.
Imagine if you and I would give ourselves entirely to the Holy Spirit, how the world might be set on fire with the love of God.